April is dedicated to the creation of awareness on autism. Zami Yenus manages an organization called Joy Center for Children with Autism and related disorders. And what is the statistics like in Ethiopia? Would you be able to get the right statistics in the first place?
Not yet. No, we don't know what the prevalence or the number we have here in Ethiopia.
Why is that? Because of the stigma?
Not only that, but nobody has done the studies yet. And as you know, autism is not known, very well known in the country. Maybe it's not the priority for many organizations and officials, so nobody has done the study yet.
I mean, no family would volunteer to come over and say, "Hey, I have kids in my family. Who are autistic," and that makes your job in terms of collecting statistics very difficult, right? Because it's all about tradition. It's all about the belief system. The people think that this is a curse from God.
For many parents, for many people here, autism is seen as a curse. It's seen as a sin from, which the parents have committed, and this is the reward that they get from God. There is a great deal of ignorance in the country, towards autism. So, nobody knows about, not many people know about autism. So, people, did not do any studies nor do rehabilitations for persons with autism.
So people don't know, and people think it's a curse, but even then, you have in your center a number of kids who are receiving treatment and care and support, and you should be able to know how many there are, at least in this country.
We don't know who's going to do the study.
Not exactly the figure, but you have 62 kids in your center.
I have 62 kids in my center.
But there are more.
I have over 450 on
exactly,
my waiting lists. And the prevalence in other countries show that there is 1 in 150 persons. And this shows that it's also recalled as an epidemic in other countries. So we know, and autism does not discriminate. It's found all over the world with no discrimination to social classes, beliefs, race. So if we calculate that, we believe that we have over 500,000 in our country.
500,000, that's quite a figure.
Yes, over 500,000. And we have calls every day. We can, prove that. We have calls every single day from all over the world. All over the country. And it shows that there are many of them, especially now. It shows that, we can witness that we have many people who need the services. So, it's becoming an epidemic as well in our country. My belief is that.
Early treatment helps, at least it's supposed to help mitigate the disorder that kids face. But I'm sure in many cases what you have is late, kids coming late in their life, or when it's truly difficult to be able to make a sound intervention. Yeah, in many cases it's really sad to see people who didn't get the intervention, especially as you said, the early they are we intervene, then the better it is. But we don't have that kind of intervention in our country. And even myself, when it comes to my son, it was late for my son to get intervention. He was... How old is he?
When he was diagnosed, he was about 8 years old. And it was a bit late, to intervene. But it's never too late as well, so we can always do the rehabilitation. But when we saw the adults now, with autism, it's really sad, because they didn't get anything. They didn't get any intervention. So instead of improving, how they they could be. So we have, you know, a big problem here.
What's the average age when you get these people admitted in your center?
Now people are coming as early as 2 years old, because they see the delays in their developmental, in their development. So, you know, they come as early as 2.
They detect that early?
Yes, they do. They do. They do, because now people know, you know, the symptoms of autism. So they tell you themselves, you know, my son has delayed in this area, especially in communication and social interaction. So sometimes they also see the behaviors they exhibit. So they come, you know, early, but mostly they come at age 4, 5, you know, because they know, they see the delays, and they come at that age.
So what kind of support do you give them? What kind of treatment and so on do you provide to this?
In our center, we give holistic rehabilitation. Depends on the child. It's individual support that we give. And we have, you know, first of all, we do the assessment. We do the diagnostical work. Once we diagnose, then we do also the assessment individually. So once we assess, then we create programs for them. For most of them, with, you know, children with autism, we start with modifying their behaviors, because they have maladaptive behaviors. So we start with that, and accordingly we give different kind of rehabilitations, such as sensory integration, sensory stimuli integration, speech therapy, occupational therapy, self-help skills, as I said, behavior modification, and more. We do holistic rehabilitations. Yeah.
You have professionals working for you, right?
We are the professionals now. You know, we started from scratch, since we don't have professionals in Ethiopia. At least, if we have very, very limited, very few. But since we had difficulties to get professionals, we started learning, and we became professionals ourselves, and we are also training others. So we have the professionals. I call them professionals, since they are doing the jobs. They are doing very well. So that's how. How
do you know they are doing very well? Do you see?
We see the results.
The results.
Yeah, we see the improvements. We see the results.
Like what kind of improvements? I mean, do you have a time period where you gauge these improvements?
Yes, when we do the assessment, we have all the records, you know, where the kids are, what's need to be done, and we see the results as well. And we have a family support group. We meet with family members every month, and we also discuss with families and see the improvements with families. We also have professionals from here, and as well, you know, many professionals from abroad who visit us now and then. So they evaluate us, and they tell us that we are doing well. And we see the results. For example, we see the behavior modified. We see that, you know, how much we controlled the behaviors, you know, of the children. We see also how many of them are toilet trained and other training as well. And we see, you know, the communication with, you know, with each other and with us. We see how much they interact socially. So, you know, then we say, okay, we are in the right track, you know, and we know when we are not doing it right. And at the same time, we have also, you know, we take trainings now and then ourselves, so in different, you know, abroad. So now we are able to differentiate all this.
But this is a lifetime support that these kids, even their adults, need from you.
Yes.
It's not like you get there, get the treatment, you're adios, you go.
Yeah.
Back to the wider
exactly.
world.
This is a lifetime treatment, a lifetime support that we need to give. Unfortunately, so far, autism is known as a lifelong developmental disorder. We are learning ourselves, you know. So now we started with small kids. Now we are growing, and you know, the children are also growing now. So we see when we started, the age group, the group was, you know, limited. Now they are growing, so they are becoming adolescents. And we have adults as well now. Especially this year, we started with the adults.
How old are these adults?
The oldest one person we have, the oldest one is 36, but we have also 22. These are two exceptionals that we have. We wanted to see what we can do, with adults. But the rest, the oldest is 18, and we have, from 3 to 18.
So you give this kinds of support, and I wonder where you get the resources from, because if this is a list understood of disorders, not only in Ethiopia, but anywhere in the world, I wonder where you would tap into in terms of resources. I mean, it would be really difficult.
Which resources? Financial resource?
And because as you continue to grow, you definitely need professionals as well.
Exactly. When we started, as I told you, it was, we had a lot of challenges. And when I started this center myself. It's because I have a need. I have a son who has autism. So when I started, because there is no other place for my son, no school, no rehabilitation centers, so somebody had to do it, and I had to do this thing. And when I started, it's with no resource, financial resource or professional resource. And I used my own financial from my business, and also as professionals, I just started it because I needed some place somewhere to start. But as I told you, we grow up, gradually. We have, autism is very expensive, which means it needs a whole lot. For example, when we educate those kids,
they need your undivided attention.
Exactly, undivided attention. Not only that, but it's one-to-one education. It's not like, you put students in one class, 20, 30 or more, and put one teacher there or two teachers there. It is not. It is one-to-one. And you need different kind of therapies for those children. And it asks you a lot of money. But, we had to do it, and we are lucky to reach here. It's not only us, but also the parents' support. They do contribute, those who can contribute do contribute, but those who cannot contribute, they don't. But we use also that kind of resources. And we are lucky.
Do families contribute?
Yes, they do contribute. They do, according to their income. It's not as such, payment that, we adjust some kind of payments like other schools. This is a non-profit organization. So, we ask for contribution because we want families, first of all, to contribute because we don't have resources. And second, because we want them to feel this is, their center too. And at the same time, those who can afford, we want them to contribute because they can afford to contribute. And we need to support others as well, those who cannot contribute at all. And for, especially for those who come from very low income families, we support them. We give them for transportations, we give them for clothes, and we need to support them. So we help each other. The families there help each other. But at the same time, we get also resources from different organizations. Now we have started working with the Packard Foundation, and we also worked with the UNICEF, Global Fund for Children, and other donors.
Sufficient enough to get you going?
Not really, but
with more resources, you would have done better. You would have had
a whole lot
more.
Better. Yeah, what we get is not enough, but we are struggling. We are, as I told you, we bring money from our pockets, and we also ask individuals to support us. And we're thankful for all those who supported us, the organizations and individuals. So that's how we do it. And we need a whole lot of support because we need to expand, first of all, to sustain our
That's
project.
very important, yeah.
Yes.
And you're based in Addis, you can do more.
We are based in Addis now, but we need to replicate our programs to different regions and to different subsidies because there is the demand. People need this kind of services. And as I told you, we have over 450 on our waiting list. So we need to expand our services to different areas. And so we need the support. We need the support from different areas, governmental, non-governmental organizations, from individuals, from autism societies in different countries, you know, and hopefully we will do what we need to do.
So what is the reaction like? Because you've organized this month an awareness campaign to reach out to anybody who cares to listen. Did it make sense?
Slowly, slowly, a little bit, yes, but we have a long way to go. We have to let people know that there is a need here. We need their support. We need to let our government know that there is a need here. You know, we need to support those children, and especially those organizations, non-governmental organizations who care about children, who say they care about children, who say they work with children. Here we have children who didn't get anything, who are the most forgotten and the most vulnerable children, who never got any kind of education, rehabilitation, any kind of services. So hopefully we will catch them. Hopefully, you know, people will start turning their face towards those kind of children. For many areas, we are told that this is not their priorities. So we are asking now.
So that's very interesting, because it's not that people don't know, but it's because it's not their priority.
I think the major thing is the ignorance, because they don't know. They don't know what autism is.
But it seems that you've made quite a difference in the last few years. You've come into picture.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
people know better than they used to, about 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, since we started, we have been talking about it. We didn't stop from talking. We talk again and again. We try to create awareness. I believe the awareness is, you know, somehow it's created, but we still need people, you know, to come to this area.
What way?
Yes,
for example, are you looking for a piece of legislation coming from the legislative body? What is that?
No,
because that's not unusual,
I think
is it?
We have that. I think we
Which
have
is basically catered for.
Yeah, but as I told you, it's just that, you know, we want them to see. I know there are so many areas to tackle, but you know, for many of them, they didn't know, or they don't know that this is an area which should be, you know, which priority should be given.
Why should this be a priority, other than the fact that you claim that there are over 400 or 500,000 children and adults suffering from
Why should
autism?
I think this is the priority? Because
why would the institutions take this as a priority?
Because those are, you know, this is their right. Those are children too. Those are, you know, human beings who need you know, some kind of attention. They didn't get any education facilities. They didn't get any health facilities. You know, they didn't get anything. You know, who is going to take care of those children? Who's going to support those children? Parents are crying. Parents, especially single mothers, are crying in the dark. You know, looking for support. How do they do it? You know. Think for yourself. If you have a child with autism, the child needs, you know, it demands a lot, because you know, the child has a behavioral problem that you cannot, you know, no school can accept that child, no neighbor can handle that child, no family members will take care of your child, and you need to work. Where are you going to leave this child? And you know, for the result, you know, for many children are tied with ropes, with chains, and are left in dark rooms. And, you know, so don't you think this is the priority? Don't you think those are children who need our services? And, you know, this is as well, you know, those are as well children like anybody, you know, like other children. So they should get the priority. They should get the priority, and they should get the attention, I mean, immediately, because it's been years and years and years, you know, since they have been, you know, ignored. And I think it's time to look for those children. It's time to recognize their challenges. It's time to recognize their needs, and it's time to include those children in all systems, you know, in all educational or health services. You know. So I believe, you know, we should go parallel. We should go parallel with other issues. We shouldn't leave them behind anymore. Yeah.
The reason you started this organization, launched this organization, is because you have, this is your issue, this is your problem.
This is my life.
Yes, as you've said, you have a son suffers from autism, what other motivations do you have? I mean, is that enough to get things started?
I think that's enough to get started, but
that's not enough to get you through.
But not only because you have a child. Unfortunately, you know, we know things better when it comes to, you know, to our life. I didn't know anything about autism before, but you know, soon I know about autism, and soon I know the challenges that, you know, my child faced and the challenge that I faced myself.
What is the challenges? Tell us, because that would be a very interesting story.
Oh, the challenge is that there is nothing for those children. There is no school for those children. There was no school for my child. You know, I took my child from place to place, from school to school. He was kicked out from 6 different schools. And I was asked to pay double and triple to let my child in schools.
At home, did you ever think at one point in time that your child was a burden?
It was a burden for me? No, he was not. No, I never thought that, because I love my child, and you know, I accept my child as he is. But I thought he was a burden to the society. I thought, because, you know, my question was, is he a burden to the society? Why nobody is taking care of my child? Why no professionals are talking about, you know, my child kind of case, you know? So there was nothing for my child. And that was a big challenge. How would I go to work? How would I feed my children? And how come, you know, my child is not able of going to school like everybody, you know? Why was he discriminated? Why was, I'm a taxpayer myself, and I do pay my taxes like anybody else, but there is nothing for my child. So that was the question. And again, because of my challenges, I started looking for, the question was, where are the other children? Where are those children who are facing the same problem like my child? And where are those parents, you know?
And you started talking to them?
Yeah, I started looking for them. I started talking about autism, and what I saw was really devastating. It was really, really sad to see children sitting in dark rooms, you know, children tied with ropes, you know, behind their back and put under, you know, bed. It was, you know, not an easy thing to see, and I couldn't, you know, leave it alone. I said, you know, somebody has to do this job. Somebody has to do it. And my other chance was to go abroad, to go to the U.S. and live there and put my child to, you know, a special center or for education. But how can I leave those children behind, you know? So I said, no, at least we have to create the awareness. And I started creating awareness about 9 years ago. I started talking about autism. But later, only creating awareness, I found out, you know.
There has to be the service.
Yeah, we needed the service. So I said, okay, it's time to open some kind of center and let it go. So that's how I started. Now we have, as I told you, we have 62 children in my center. And it shows that people were really in need of some places. You know, people needed some kind of support. People needed someone to talk about their problem, because for many of them, they thought, you know, they were alone. They thought, you know, this is their problem, you know, especially the mother's problem. They thought, you know, she created it, and the society didn't help. The society was the burden of those children, those parents, you know. Not the children were the burden of the society.
So you have NIA Foundation, that's primarily a foundation trying to raise awareness and resources.
Yeah, we work in different areas. Autism is not only the area we work. We also work with their parents. We support parents who have not only autism, but who have differently abled children. We also work with vulnerable youth. So we have, you know, we work in different areas, but autism is one of our major area. Yeah.
Zami, thank you very much for coming. It was a pleasure, and good luck.
Thank you very much.